What is up, party people? Happy New Year or Happy New Year's? You guys, Happy New Year or Happy New Year's? Happy New Year or Happy New Year's? What do we call it?
Happy New Year.
Yep, I'm a singular Happy New Year. We're just talking about this. I mean, I hope all your years are great, but I hear a lot of Happy New Years out there, and I appreciate the hustle.
But it's a single year.
I'm a New Year girl.
I appreciate the positivity either way. There's lots of good things
happening
to be talking about. It's a lot of good things to be talking.
We're into it. Happy New Year's.
He's lost.
It's Happy New Year for sure.
What's up, folks? This is DFW Real Estate Weekly, and I'm Todd Tremonti, and this is
the DFW Real Estate Weekly.
You were almost
show.
Focused enough to get that. And this is
Ian
Daniels.
Full price.
The Yanni Donnie, the English wonder himself, our very own AI, the agitated Ian.
I'm a happy person, though.
Full price.
Full price
Courtney.
The Triple C, the producer of all the things. Hey, folks, we're a little animated because we're happy to be back. We're happy about 2026. We see a lot of good things happening in the DFW real estate market. It's not all good, but there's a lot of good. Certainly more good than we've seen in a few years.
I need a little bit colder weather, though, for the winter.
I want a jacket on, too.
Yeah.
I have my sleeves rolled up literally right now.
I think we've got some coming, but I need a little bit of weather. The kids need a little bit of snow.
I don't need like a hard, ugly freeze, though. But like a dusting of snow that stays for a while, I'm into it.
Yeah, give me like a week. Just give me like a week freeze.
Happy 2026, folks. If you've got questions about your residential real estate for this year, if you're thinking, hey, maybe this is the year that I or we pick up an investment property. Maybe this is the year that I downsize and I get out of the big house for the big family and I get into something a little bit more appropriate for the next stage of life. Maybe this is the year to go ahead and move it on up to get an extra bedroom, an extra living space.
Moving on up.
A little bit bigger backyard. Appreciate you picking that up.
You bet.
Maybe a pool, maybe a bigger lot, maybe the larger garage, whatever you're looking for. Maybe this is the year, 2026. We're going to spend some time today on the show talking about why it's probably a good year for most people, whether you've been waiting or you've been sort of trying to time things a little bit, or you're just kind of coming around to the fact that rates are lower, inventory's solid, it's a balanced market with some give and take. We'll get into our 2026 outlook later in this show or potentially next week's show. But a lot of good things happening right now, especially for folks that have been waiting for a good time to make a move. I believe 2026, especially early 2026, is going to be your year if you and your family and your finances are ready. So let's get it going. Holler at us if you need any help with that, or if you just want to get some suggestions, or you want to kind of feel out the market, get some questions answered, get some guidance, get some data. 214-310-0008. That's 214-310-0008.
Let me, for the first time in 2026,
Go on, do it in.
Got that right. Tell you about Patrick Gleros and his phenomenal service that he can provide for you, the team. PatrickGleros.com is the website if you're looking to get a mortgage, refinance, you have questions. Patrick is the first call we make. It's the first call you should make when you have questions about that. PatrickGleros.com. You can start an application right there on his website. NMLS number 308804. And as always, if you forget any of the people that we mentioned, you can hop over to toddtremontiteam.com, click on the radio tab, where you will find all of our recommended pros and vendors.
You want to hear a good New Year's joke?
Let's go.
God, it's been a weird year. I haven't even used Patrick Gleros at all. See what I did there? It's a straight New Year's dad joke.
Wow. It's just a little too niche.
They're not supposed to be funny.
I
it's
think.
A dad joke.
Yeah, well, funny.
No, it's like I use Patrick for everything mortgage related. So
yeah, it feels like multiple times a year.
Only that it's like the first week of the month, second week of the month, that we haven't used Patrick yet. So I'm sure it will happen.
There's still
before the end
time.
of the year.
I am excited about today's show. Because I want to hear from you about, there's like a lot going on in the world, big news things. And
really?
I just want to know how this has an impact on real estate.
What do you think?
How do you see it?
What is she talking about?
What's happened?
I don't, we've conquered Venezuela.
Whoa.
I knew y'all were going to be mad about any way that I say it.
Well, don't bring that ridiculousness in here.
Okay, and then I've got some like Donald Trump bits.
All right, hold on real quick. We never get political, but we're going to get close today.
I just said the world, the news.
What?
How does anything in the world
What
impact
source of
real
information
estate?
is informing you that we have conquered Venezuela?
It was a bad choice of words.
It was a bad
Very bad choice of words.
We got the bad guy.
We did. A very,
Is what I
very,
meant to say.
Very
Yay,
bad guy.
love Venezuela.
And his bad wife. Okay. That's one of the major things happening in the world. And I do think that actually has and will have impact on your home owning, home buying, home selling right here in DFW. Now that sounds like a stretch. That sounds like something that only someone who's a lifelong real estate broker with a real estate show would say. And it turns out I am that guy, but it's also true. And the reason is this. When you think about, we say residential real estate is hyper local. Okay. That's true, but it's also connected. And if you're in a city like Dallas, Fort Worth, which has national influence and global impact and is a hub of economic activity and banking and airlines and major institutions that have real impact across the globe, then it is also hyper local and connected to the world. So can we make connections with things like a brutal dictator who was very, very likely unlawfully, running a country? Can we say that that's going to impact your homeownership in DFW? Here's how I could connect the dots. And I'm obviously not saying I know for sure, but this is what I could envision happening in the future. Okay. So you look at the United States economy, true or false, oil and gas is a big part of that.
Yep.
True or false, residential real estate's a big part of that.
Yep.
Okay. So
true.
Do we think, thank you. Do we think that oil and gas is going to be dramatically affected by this Venezuela situation?
I do.
One way or the
I
other?
do.
Yes. Okay. So most likely, most predictors in the stock market erupted, went up 800 points, kind of stabilized at 700 and something up immediately afterwards. Right. So the world is like, hey, this is probably going to be good for investments. Chevron stock went up. ExxonMobil went up. I think British Petroleum went up, pretty much all of them. So the reality here is like, okay, the world is saying, right or wrong, whatever, this is probably going to be good for the value of oil and gas companies, for the business of oil and gas companies. When oil and gas companies are doing well in the United States, there's a couple of ways to look at that. Either oil and gas companies can do well because costs are way up, or they can do well because volume is up and costs are down and they're a little bit more favorable in the equity marketplace, right? So they're two different things. All I'm saying is this. I got gas this week with my Walmart discount. Hey, holler at us, Walmart, if you want to promote, for $1.94.
Wild.
$1.94 per gallon.
That's not premium, though, correct?
And Matt, that is not premium. I'm a straight unleaded man. I don't drive a rocket ship like you do. Okay, so if the cost of these regular goods, and we could get into the CPI and consumer price index and all the inflation and all these things. Suffice it to say, let me just summarize all that by saying, look, if it stimulates the economy, cost of goods go down, investment in the United States go up, the stock market as a whole benefits, all of those things historically have always led to a healthier, more beneficial real estate market. And DFW has been one of the biggest beneficiaries, top of the list beneficiaries of major markets around our country when these things happen. One more note, and then we'll move on because we got real analytical here, is this is a sign that Donald Trump is continuing to do the things he said he's going to do. Now, whether you like them or not, and whether he does every single one or not, that's not for us to discuss. But he is saying loud and clear, he wants interest rates down. Now, he means the Fed rate, but he also means mortgage rates. And he said both. He gathered all of his economic advisors, we'll talk about this a little bit later in the show too, recently at Mar-a-Lago to talk about housing affordability. If you don't think he wants, and all the things he's doing are at least in contribution or a goal to lower rates and increase market activity, meaning the number of homes bought and sold, and to be able to develop more affordable homes, to be able to get people access to more homes, easeability of trading homes, portable mortgages are being discussed, all sorts of things here, then you're just not paying attention. So will that trickle down to DFW? Here's my answer. Yes. Yes, it will. When? I don't know, but sooner rather than later. So if you're in DFW and you're a buyer, I would encourage you to go pretty quickly. I actually don't want our buyers that I'm advocating for to wait on lower rates. And the reason for that is when those lower rates come, the masses come, competition comes, and prices increase. So I would rather you buy soon, and then maybe in a year or two, if rates are really, really, really attractive, maybe you refinance. But don't do it based on that. Do it based on stagnant pricing, which is where we are. Do it on availability of a lot of houses, which is where we are, and the lowest interest rates we've seen in 2 to 3 years, which is where we are. So it's a great time to be a buyer. In light of global news, I think it's actually going to get a little tougher to be a buyer as rates probably come down and affordability, generally speaking, actually comes down, because that's going to drive competition with all the pent-up demand we've had over the last few years. I'll pause, breathe, let someone else talk for a second, and we can come back to it. But that's just one issue globally, and a couple of ways I think it will impact DFW real estate. If you want to talk more about that with one of our full-time, fully dedicated real estate pros, during the month of January, we are still gifting 30 to 90 minutes of our time as a gift to you. Ask any question you want, get a valuation, get an investment, assessment, get some recommendations on a remodel or a repair or buying, selling, downsizing, upsizing, investing, owning rentals, flipping, whatever. You can just request a free strategy session in our assessment of the market and these news items by calling or texting 214-310-0008. That's 214-310-0008. Call or text or visit us online at
touchyourmoneyteam.com.
One of the things we did this week as a team was we actually sat together and we talked about what we think 2026 is going to look like. And it echoes a lot of what we just said, that there is going to be more optimism. And if people are thinking of waiting, then guess what? You're one of a lot of people that are thinking that they're going to wait. And
a lot.
As soon as one of the things that you just said was about getting gas at like $1.90 something. And what I think happens is when people begin to have a number of small little savings, right? That ends up breeding a higher level of excitement to go and do something bigger.
Yeah.
Because they're able to feel and actually have more disposable income, even though we're talking about pennies at times at certain things, but it all adds up.
And it doesn't even have to be financial. Just we talked about every single year, our team at the Touch Your Money Home Selling Team right here in DFW, selling houses, guaranteeing sellers, incredible results, killing it with buyers lately. We put together our 2026 market outlook, and as our team was discussing, like, hey, what's our outlook for this year? Everyone's input, my direction, your analysis, all the good stuff. We talked about the media drives a ton of this. And I don't anticipate rampant optimism from the media this year, but we are already seeing less pessimism. So to your point, the individual on the ground, the potential buyer, seller, investor, renter, consumer person, they're like, man, the gas wasn't as bad. Milk wasn't maybe quite as bad. This wasn't quite as bad. So they start seeing a little momentum, and so they get a little optimism. But if the media gets just any optimism, and like I said, less pessimism, if they're like, oh, mortgage rates are in a acceptable range. That's
they're not too bad.
They're not going to be like, great, they're fantastic. What a great job by the, president and his people. But not that that's the cause. But my point is to say, I don't anticipate a bunch of rampant optimism, but we're seeing less pessimism. And I think we'll see some glimmers of optimism in the media. Now, pile that on top of what you were just saying, which is the little small victories that start adding up. People are just feeling a little bit better, whether they have like tons of disposable income or not. Obviously, that helps. Or they're just a little happier, a little bit less angry, a little more optimistic, a little more open to a new idea. We are going to see real estate move in an increased value, increased competition, a little bit less inventory scenario, almost assuredly. So to your point, now is a very good time to beat all of that.
You know what they say, when you look after the pennies, the pounds take care of themselves.
That's what they say across
you have
the
enough
pond.
Pounds, buy a house.
Over here we say dollars,
Oh.
Look after the pennies, the dollars take care of themselves.
Yeah.
I respect it. I respect, not necessarily. I mean, the currency over there is kind of a big mess, but it's not a mess here. And back to DFW Real Estate Weekly with Todd Tremonti, full price Courtney, and our very own Yanni Donnie, the English wonder, our own AI.
Can I celebrate myself really quickly?
Agitated Ian. No.
I'll have been on the team on Tuesday 10 years.
decade.
You are so welcome.
Stole our thunder. We didn't get to celebrate him. You know, I hate it when people
Gave you
do that.
time.
Sometimes
You know what?
people celebrate themselves.
You know what
Save
I
you
think,
time.
Courtney? Now I say we don't do it at all. He's already got his glory.
I'll keep doing it.
You know,
I have a feeling he's going to ride this wave.
That's biblical. You already received your glory.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, Ian,
Yeah.
Oh dear.
congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Happy 10
Honestly,
years.
bravo.
Thank
Happy
you.
10. Now, Courtney's tone was a little more bravo for putting up with Todd for that long, and I heard it.
Thank you.
Feels hard.
Thank you.
Not cool. My
So many
congratulations.
goals. So many goals. You just set so many goals.
Can you imagine?
Didn't achieve many of them. Still here.
Our dear friends out there in DFW, can you imagine someone being so oppressive as I to try to encourage you and push you to your full capacity of use of God's gifts and talents and opportunities that he gave you? Someone that wants to help you see more life and glory and generosity and relational joy. What a terrible situation that must be. And by the way, if you're interested in such a terrible
Feels
situation,
hard.
we're looking to hire a couple of people this year. And all you have to do is call or text 214-310-0008. And all of his aggravated Ian misery, he stuck around for 10 years. Have you ever worked anywhere more than 10 years?
No.
Said it with such joy.
No.
Anyway,
There's not really a good way to say it, is there?
happy 10 years, you dirtbag.
Thanks.
Okay, folks, lots to get into, and still, that's where we are.
That's about where we
A
are.
little side note over here from Courtney. Production note. She's really
Sometimes we have to
nailing it.
pass notes.
Yeah, no, I respect it. I could have done it
Quality.
silently.
She brings quality.
I chose not to. Hey, okay, while we're talking about like global big events that are outside of DFW that impact DFW real estate, we went through a season of talking about AI a lot on the show, and then I think we all felt that our audience and friends were kind of sick of it.
Artificial intelligence, not
Aggravated Ian.
Not agitated Ian, not even animated Ian, artificial intelligence. And it is time to at least address a little bit of how we're seeing it and expecting and predicting it to impact DFW real estate. And then also like some really crazy possible down the road ways that it could impact residential real estate.
I feel like when we initially were talking about it, it was new. It was almost like the entire public had experience with ChatGPT. And now there's like all these new ways. It's working faster and getting more sophisticated. And I just feel like there's a new conversation to be had.
Well, and also scarier for a lot of people. And so to me, when I'm talking about what's happening in residential real estate right now with AI, I mean, you're seeing people use it for writing. You're seeing people use it for analysis, calculations, things like that. You're seeing some graphic design. These are things that are like sort of incremental growth that we've kind of seen in the past where you were like, oh, Google's helping me do things I used to do way faster.
I'm real good at making funny pictures.
Yeah, and songs. So the point I'm making is those are very new and still kind of mind-blowing that you can do that.
Wait, can I say something?
I'm not sure because you said something earlier.
I know.
I'm a little concerned.
We got my kid a 3D printer for Christmas.
I'm ready. Don't worry. Oh, sorry. Go
Okay.
ahead.
We got her a 3D printer for Christmas. And it occurred to me, this is how we've been making things for quite some time. And you're just like now just handing it to me as like a toy. That's sort of how I feel about AI.
Okay. Thank you.
Appreciate the contribution.
Thanks for the point.
It's not.
It was a good point.
It was a fine point.
It was a point.
Okay, listen. AI's been around forever, and even we've interacted with it with Alexa and things like that. But yes, on the back end, the computing power is infinitely more than like our chat interface alone. So not a terrible point. The point I want to make for the impact on DFW residential real estate is one that says right now it's sort of a utilitarian tool. It looks like in the future you will see a divide of where some of these online portals that have kind of been really disreputed, like they've lost a lot of luster in the last couple of years. They've been acquired and merged and tried 37 business models and kind of not figured it out. And the consumer base is learning that a local real estate agent, if you're in DFW, we'd be honored if that's us at the Todd Tremonti home selling team. But people are learning that like that's not the best source of information. They're selling those leads. I'm getting bombarded. The site's good, but whatever. Think about the fully AI empowered version of that, where they're trying to be the one-stop shop for mortgage and insurance and inspections and all that. There's just a lot less trust. There's a lot less care and concern. There's way less personal, but some people will go that way. I think that's the next phase. You could predict that. Where I think it starts to get scary is when you hear people talking about like super intelligence, where AI is now way beyond the human ability to comprehend. And you hear things like singularity, where the merging of like humanity and technology is hard to differentiate. And you're like, people and computers are sort of kind of one and the same. And that's creepy and weird. But a lot of the predictors of that thing would say things like, in that scenario, almost none of us are working anymore. Almost none of us like really are for profit in our operations. And there maybe is a universal basic income and all that's woo-woo crazy for now. But if you're someone who's thought about that, just imagine the value of real property and land in that scenario. I'm not saying I'm going out and just buying up a bunch of land out of sheer paranoia. I'm just saying it's always a generally good idea to own more real assets. And what I mean by that is like, you can own a stock and a bond, and if that company goes away, it goes away. You can own a home and it could burn down and you still have the land. You could own a home and it could not go up in price, but you could still rent it out, run a business, enjoy your life. There's other sources of value from it. So I think in this weird dystopia or utopia of the whole world feeling and looking and being different because of artificial intelligence, real estate, and this is not just because I sell real estate, but is going to be one of those real assets. The ability to maybe grow some food or see nature or experience real connection is going to be as scarce a commodity as it's ever been. And some people might want to think about that right now. If we can help you with that, or just good old fashioned normal owning a property for your family or for investing, give us a call. 214-310-0008, 214-310-0008, or online at toddtremonti.com. Now, when we come back from the break, we're going to talk a little bit about what we would do right now to sell a home in this market and why people would want to live certain places. We'll be right back after the break. We're online at toddtremonti.com. Welcome back, party people. Ian had a hard time breathing during the break. He was still laughing from when Courtney referred to the Venezuelan situation as conquering.
I'm just surprised you'd bring it back up.
Sure, she knows what the word means.
I brought it back up, and I'm sure that your communist magazines in your bag are not going to be burned tonight when the other books are burned.
I don't feel that way.
Anyway, God bless America, ladies and gentlemen. God bless this great country. Okay, hey, we've got a lot to cover in the second half of the show. I promised you when we went to the break that we would just kind of give you a little inside baseball behind the curtain, behind the scenes of how we would think about and approach selling a home in this market right here in DFW. We'll actually go hyper specific to a specific submarket. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about like how many homes on land, big backyard properties are out there, where they are, and some interesting numbers there. But before that, we had an item we didn't get to in the first segment that I think it was Ian that was eager to get to, maybe Courtney's stock market question here. And really it comes down to this. What is kind of the best case or the worst case scenario in the Dallas-Fort Worth real estate market, depending on what happens with the stock market? And I would just say from 20 plus years of experience in the market, when the stock market is bad, lots of things are bad. So you'll hear things from people right now that are like, well, the market's overinflated. I'm waiting for pricing and values to come back down. And they may be talking about the equities market, stocks and bonds, S&P 500, whatever, or they might be talking about the real estate market. In my experience in DFW, waiting for both of those things is financially bad. It doesn't go well. So sometimes people are like, I'm going to wait till the market's down and switch my focus to real estate. But when the stock market is down, typically the economy is struggling, employment is down, and people don't feel the freedom and confidence to go invest in real estate or almost anything else. Now, major, massive institutional investors will shift their strategies to alternative investments. But the typical homeowner is not going, wow, there's blood in the streets and demise on the news, and I'm going to go acquire me some property. That's not what ends up happening. That's what people kind of think and say today, but it's not what they end up doing tomorrow. Almost anybody, unless somebody is wealthy to the point that the markets really don't change their processing. Okay, now flip it to when the stock market is at an all-time high, what do people do? Now, this is a different answer, and it's more It varies along the spectrum of investment savvy or financial availability. So when the market's really, really great, the big investors that have a tremendous amount of the market are often interested in speculating and diversifying. A, they have additional capital. B, they're usually like restabilizing their portfolios. So that's where we will see people seek some secondary returns in real estate. But as far as Dallas-Fort Worth real estate goes, I mean, generally speaking, we are on a very, very, very long run of stock market growth. That has coincided with a very, very long run of real estate growth. Now, in the last few years, we've seen some flattening and some slight losses in real estate values in DFW, but nothing crazy along a continuously growing stock market. So we're in a slightly unique market right now where the stock market has continued to hit all-time highs with some bumps along the way. And the real estate market has been generally flat or flattish the last few years. So what should people do? What will happen when the market's up? When the stock market's up, real estate's typically up. When the stock market is down, interestingly enough, real estate is still typically up, but sometimes not up as much. That's kind of the answer. It sounds like Courtney's least favorite answer, which is like the real estate market is just generally up in DFW. Historically, it's just generally on the climb. We've been through a kind of a plateau season where we kind of hit pause. It went flat. It dipped a little bit in some areas, nowhere more than 4 or 5%. And again, when we track data, we see median pricing as one of the most popular tracking data points. That doesn't mean we saw the other day that median home values were down 5.4%. That does not mean your home value is down 5.4%. It means the midline of the spectrum of homes that are selling are down 5.4%. And a big explanation of that is people are just spending a little bit less on homes.
I understand that people want to process this information, make a good decision, make a decision that makes them a lot of money. I've been on the show for many years now, and I'm just finally getting the message that it's the right time when it's the right time for your finances.
Your family,
no more
and
waiting.
Your finances. Yeah. Now,
no more waiting. What are we waiting for?
You have heard us say on the show, right now is a great time for a buyer and a good time for sellers. Like, we're going to tell you when there's a unique opportunity. You've heard us say there's a unique window of opportunity between here and here. So it's not like it's just every day is the same, but it is almost anyone who ever waited regretted it.
I mean,
if you, your family, and your finances are ready, the market is almost always going to be more challenging in the future, either more competitive, higher price points, whatever the case is. There have been very, very, very few times in the history of DFW real estate where somebody waited and was able to take advantage of a uniquely timed dip, just because there haven't been that many dips.
Well, a lot of times people wait because they're fearful, because buying a home, selling a home, moving is stressful, and it can be scary. And it's why it is really, really important that you connect with people that are going to guide you and walk you through it. And even if you've bought and sold 5 or 6 times before, it's always going to be a little different. And so you need to reach out to somebody that is going to be able to help you with that and calm you, and somebody that knows and is trained on the chaos that can be buying and selling a home. It's not always super smooth sailing. You need somebody that can guide you through that, like you have a pilot on a plane, right? They never come on the radio and be like, careful everybody, it's turbulence, right? It's like, it's always super calming because that's what they need to do, and that's what you need when you're in this situation.
Here's my thought. On an airplane, it's always calming because pilots are like heavily trained. In real estate, it is not always calming because there's a lot of terrible real estate agents.
That's why you need somebody that can do that like we can.
Yeah. All you got to do is call or text us and we'll hook you up with a free strategy session, 30 to 90 minutes of our full-time, fully dedicated, world-class, highly educated real estate agents. They'll give you 30 to 90 minutes if you just call or text 214-310-0008. You can just text the word strategy or call 214-310-0008.
Okay, this first segment was brought to you by Patrick Gleros and his team. Reach out to Patrick if you have questions on mortgages, refinancing, really anything to do with that sector. Reach out to Patrick. He can guide you and walk you through and answer your questions. You can actually start an application right there on his website, patrickgleros.com. You can give him a call, 972-386-1231, MLS number 308804. And we told you in the first segment, we are coming to you live from the Trinity Home Advisors studio.
Believe it.
They are doing home warranties differently. Tell them a little bit about it.
Yeah, so home warranties are generally hated. Like, people just think they suck because they're like, I had one and they didn't take care of anything and they didn't want to value my claim and they didn't come out fast enough. So Trinity has looked at the home warranty market for 20 plus years with a background in home warranty and mortgage and said, look, this is what doesn't work. And they've built a model that works better. A couple things they do uniquely. One is a different financial model where they are prepared to cover more things because they know that's a better financial model for home warranty. They're prepared to be more communicative to help you understand your coverage better. The second thing is just a better maintenance model where they're actually equipping you and updating you with intermittent occasional information to say, hey, if you'll spend less than 90 minutes per year maintaining the basic systems in your home, you'll almost never have a claim that isn't warranted. But if you don't, that's the reason warranty claims often don't get handled, because they're like, well, you didn't maintain it. You never changed the filter and then it broke. We're not responsible for that. So that's why so many warranty companies are able to get away with basically never covering anything. It's like, well, you didn't take care of it. So Trinity doesn't want to do that. So they're calling your attention to, these are the things that are most likely to break and often don't get covered because people don't take care of it. So here's all you got to do. And they can even help you with an ongoing service for things like filters and repairs. And they will help everyone with an ongoing information update on things that need to be done. Again, less than 90 minutes per year. And then your Trinity Home Advisors home warranty is very highly likely to cover everything within the package at a very small trip fee. They'll send somebody out, take care of any repairs you need on the basic systems in your home. Just go to trinityhomeadvisors.com. Now, we did promise we would talk about how we would sell a home and some opportunities for homes on land property. But Courtney, you had a little Donald Trump situation that you wanted to talk about.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Another one.
Did you want me to read this or
don't
to, like,
know.
summarize it?
Whatever. However you
Well,
want to
okay. It said that he was
What is it?
huddling his top economic team at Mar-a-Lago to talk about the most aggressive housing affordability plan in U.S. history.
The most aggressive. Ever.
Some of these ideas would be options reportedly including 50-year mortgages to lower monthly payments
Make a note on
portable
that.
mortgages that let homeowners keep ultra low rates. This is what I'm interested in. Portable mortgages that let homeowners keep ultra low rates when they move.
Yep.
Move supporters say could unlock inventory as empty nesters downsize, but critics warn could also spike demand and prices if done wrong. One thing's clear, housing affordability is now front and center, and big ideas are on the table.
Yeah. So let me just say it this way. You have seen, like it or not, again, I always say that, Trump. And when he and his administration get fixated on things, they move quickly and they move significantly, whether you like it or not. So when he's gathering all of his top economic advisors at Mar-a-Lago and they are saying, the title at the top of the whiteboard is housing affordability, what my mom would say, Katie, bar the door. You know, who knows what's coming next? But they're telling you that they're looking at a few not new ideas. It's not a new idea to have a longer term mortgage. Generally a terrible idea, but not a new idea. And it's not new to consider portable mortgages. I will tell you why that's never happened. And then it is a little bit new, not brand new, but it's newish to consider the impact that baby boomers who would statistically have downsized a bunch by now, but generally haven't, what impact that will probably have as that unrolls and unfolds into the residential housing market across the globe, especially in the United States. Baby boomers is specific to the United States, the generation following wars. Anyway, so I want to say this. A 50-year mortgage is a terrible idea for almost everybody. Not everybody, but basically you're extending the term way out beyond what most people do. Most people are in a 15 or a 30-year mortgage, and you're talking about significantly increasing that. There would be more interest paid, like more total interest paid over the term, and most people would never own their home. I mean, if the average person buys a house at 30 or 40 something and doesn't pay that off, doesn't accelerate repayment at all, that home would never be paid off until your late 80s or 90s. That's higher than the lifespan, average lifespan in the United States right now. Now, if you don't care about that, then fine. But I would argue that's not much different from renting. It is different because you can still build equity, but it's not that much different because you have such a big repayment burden. That's just a broad topic. There's nuance to it. There's scenarios where I could see someone doing it responsibly, but not many. Now, secondly, the portable mortgage thing. First of all, there's a unique wording they use. People could take their super low mortgage rates. Well, only if they already have a super low mortgage rate, but a lot of people do. So why would a bank want you to do that?
I thought that's why things were slowing down, because people were attached.
Yeah. So what they're saying is people don't want to move because they have a 2.8% rate. And over here, they're going to have a 6.2% rate, or what was previously an 8% rate. Yeah. So that's just logic. But why would a bank let you take your 2.8% mortgage here over there instead of being able to sell you a new 6% mortgage?
Sure.
Well, they wouldn't. Now, what incentive could they get to do it? I don't know. I don't run governments and incentive programs. By the way, the entire tax system is an incentive program. I don't know if you've ever thought it that way. We all think of it as it's terrible because I have to pay taxes. But they say, okay, everybody has to pay these taxes. You pay this much, you pay that much. By the way, if you do this, you can deduct that. If you do this, you can get a credit for that. It's the government's way of saying, we want you to do this. Now, angry people, usually on one side of the political spectrum, I'm not going to say which one, but it's pretty obvious, think people are taking advantage of the tax system. No, the tax system it's meant to incentivize you to do those things, to employ people or own property or actually carry debt, so you'll spend more. So that's what's happening with a portable mortgage. I like the idea of that one. If not, if I owned a bank and I just the government told me I had to do it. So there will have to be some portability fee, transfer fee. There will have to be some incentive or whatever,
or cap, or
for that to ever work. Yeah, for that to ever work. It gets in the category of like assumptions where you're like, all right, well, I still have a $326,000 mortgage at 2.8%. I'm going to go buy a $500,000 house. I have X amount down. It doesn't cover all of it, like an assumption often doesn't. So now I need a current, normal rate mortgage, prime mortgage or whatever to cover the difference. So we will see. We'll see how that shakes out. There will have to be some incentive or some fee or some cost that would make either a bank happy with the volume or with some opportunity for profitability. Now, the boomer piece is tied to these because they're holding up a bunch of real estate that would normally have turned over. But boomers already act different. I mean, every generation acts differently. By the way, go read The Fourth Turning, an incredible book about generational shifts and personalities. But boomers, I'm not saying this, all the research is saying this, have been labeled a generally selfish generation. They don't want to downsize, so they're just not. They're going to do what they want. They've found a way to either financially afford it or pillage the next generation through government systems and debt and all these kind of things. So if you're a boomer and that just ticked you off, I'm not saying that. That's what all of the research is saying, and I hope you're an exception. But the reality is they may never let go of those bigger houses or houses with pools and bigger lots and all those things like normal generations do. So we will see, but it is fascinating to see that Trump and his team, his cabinet, are saying this is a primary challenge we want to tackle. I don't think you're going to see pro-growth, pro-economic growth, pro-development Trump want to crash the housing market to do it. I think you're going to see them make an effort for a balanced, try to create some more inventory, but not so much that you tank prices, create some stimulus, but not the old stimulus that didn't work. So it's going to be interesting to see how all that shakes out. But suffice it to say, it's worth paying attention when he says we want to do something about affordability. They're going to do something. Something's going to change, and I would imagine it will be before mid-year 2026.
It's going to be interesting.
I would want to do my real estate business before that, just as an additional tip, by the way. Okay. We said we would talk about how we would sell a house. Let's get specific. What area do we want to talk about, Courtney?
West Richardson.
Okay. Ian, help me out. Courtney, jump in when ready. But if the Todd Tremonti home selling team right now had a listing in West Richardson, which we often do, and we were thinking, okay, how do we make this super appealing to buyers right now? Well, another way to say this is like, why would somebody want to live in West Richardson? In addition to specific property stuff, how would we think about marketing and making that property compelling based on its surroundings in West Richardson? So I'll give you a couple thoughts. Jump in whenever you want.
One of those giant, wavy worm things.
Oh, yeah, like out front of a car dealership?
A blow-up guy.
Yeah.
Finished.
This way.
And fireworks.
Come this way.
Yeah.
Finished. Okay, no. So here's the first thing we do. when we coach agents around the country, and obviously when I train agents here on our team, we have what we call marketing specialists. These are agents that only work with sellers on marketing and selling their houses. Other people call them listing agents. We use a formula that we call market message media. So the first thing we do is we say, who's most likely to be the buyer for this house? That's not something you see a lot of agents do. You see sign in the yard, on the MLS, cross the fingers, hope it works out. So we're saying, okay, West Richardson, generally speaking, based on the data that's out there, fair housing compliant, whatever, statistically, who lives here? Is it all young professionals? Is it an older community? Is it families? Is it singles? Is it this income level or whatever? So we're gonna do that and go, okay, who's the most likely buyer of a property in West Richardson right now? There's things that we know, like there's a lot of people that want to live in Richardson because it's close enough to downtown that's not a bad commute. It's still in Dallas County. There are parts of West Richardson that are in Collin County. So we would want to know that if we were selling a property. Okay, which one is it? We need to be able to communicate the benefits of that county and that location. Most of West Richardson is Dallas County, so I'll say that. So we're still in Dallas County. So I could be downtown in 20 to 30 minutes, depending on traffic. So a lot of people do that. There's also a lot of people that move to West Richardson for Richardson Independent School District. It's very highly thought of in a lot of ways. There's some magnet programs and some cool things there. So that's the bulk of who probably wants to live in West Richardson. Now, we also have in West Richardson, based on the data, one of the older populations in a community in all of DFW, because a lot of people moved there as Texas Instruments developed late 60s, early 70s, as UTD became a hub of high talent, high intellect, kind of high quality employees, that kind of thing. So that all blew up late 60s, early 70s, and a lot of those people loved it and never left. Okay, so that's just a snapshot to you of how I would think about the first thing. Who lives here? Who would want to live here? What are those dynamics? How do I target those kinds of people? So now I'm thinking about what's my message to them, right? I need to communicate the benefits of this home to the people that are most likely to buy it. So, hey, just 27 minutes from downtown, or near hike and bike trails, near this high school, this junior high, this magnet program, this classical school, these private schools, whatever. Okay, so I'm speaking to the people that I think are most likely to buy it. Okay, and then the media is, where am I going to say that? I'm definitely going to say it on the multiple listing system and on our website and all the places we market. We say those things on radio and streaming television and mail campaigns and internet and social media and all those places. A lot of agents don't do all that. So that's kind of that piece of it. Then I'm going to start saying, what are the specific things, we call them points of scarcity, about this house that a buyer could not get in any other house? What is the stuff that makes this one really, really unique? And I'm not going to share our whole strategy here, but
say carefully, giving away the goods.
Yeah, this one might have a really unique feature. It might have really unique building materials or recently updated something, but we're trying to be very clear that this one is unique in these ways, and we're trying to find buyers that value those unique things. We always say we're not looking for just any buyer. We're looking for the buyer that has to have it. That's one of the ways we're able to get way more money, way faster than the agents and brokerages and teams that we compete with. Statistically proven, forever and ever and ever.
You might say we guarantee to sell your home over the average price and under the average time.
Well done, sir. Well done. That's what you call a quality radio transition, Courtney. I don't know if
I knew that.
10 years in the business, Court. That's what I got.
Our over-under guarantee.
So that's how we would sell a property in West Richardson. That's how we would sell any property. But specific to West Richardson, I would talk about parks and trails and schools and proximity to the highways. You can get to 75 north and south central easily. You can get to George Bush 190 easily. You can get down to 635 easily. You can get over to Dallas North Tollway easily. We got good health care. We've got some good local entertainment. We've disproportionate amount of DART buses. That's our rapid transit here. We've got the Eisman Center, so we have way better theater and performing arts than most cities of our size. We've got great diversity of restaurants and really, really good food of almost every national origin you could imagine. We have very low crime and a very active police department, Parks and Recreation department, very active city government. What are some of your favorite things about West Richardson?
I mean, the community
What do you mean by that? Because I know what you mean, but
Well, I think the people are just really special and really involved. Like it feels like I feel like I live in a small town because I just see everybody supports the businesses. I don't know. I feel really known here. I know I'm not talking about.
No, that's what I wanted you to say.
Yeah.
And we can say a lot of quantifiable, Googleable things, but it does have this weird essence where people know each other.
Yeah.
They don't leave much. David on our team left for a ministry job, came right back, and has been here for almost every one of his.
On my street are 2 parents and their kids.
Like 2 generations,
That's
two
right.
separate groups.
Two
of two
separate
generations.
groups. Like they came back.
What's some of your favorite stuff about West?
I mean, to me, there's like Richardson. When I think of the food things, like there's a lot of quote hole in the wall, kind of
Locally
mom and pop
owned,
shops, and but like the diversity. I mean, you can get anything and everything that you want.
Yeah, I think it's wild how much good sushi, great burgers, great Mediterranean. It's a melting pot. So that's why I love West Richardson. And just as an example, that's how we would sell a home in West Richardson. We talk about the house, we talk about the market, we'd understand who the buyer's likely to be, we talk about the surrounding community. First of all, West Richardson's amazing, but we'll walk through how we would do this in some other areas as well. And if you're looking for a company to help you buy or sell in Richardson or any other place in DFW, reach out to the Todd Tremonti Home Selling Team at toddtremontiteam.com or call or text 214-310-0008.